Where are the First Amendment auditors at? DIRECT just put out a video. He actually did the last couple days. He's put out compilation videos. Oh, fuck. There's a hole right there. There's a hole in the blunted. Dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the blunted. Let's see if I can't fix it. A little band-aid action. It's too small. Let's see. That's what she said. There we go. There we go. Little fix the little boo-boo. You see that? Got the little band-aid down there. Yeah, we'll fix that. What's shaking, Craig? I wish, I'd love to talk to DIRECT directly. Because I think he's like literally, him and Press NH now are the best at what they do. And I think lately he's been purposefully distracted by the Lane story. Liberty Lens audits. Hey, awesome, I'm glad you're here. I am wondering why none of you guys, or not even that, we need all of you. We need all of the auditors out there to come together and do a big audit. Because the small little municipalities that you're targeting in your city or town where you live is one thing, but at the end of the day, they're all controlled by the big house, the big government. And right now, Trump is completely destroying the First Amendment. And it's like a lot of, nobody's saying it like they should be. Like, 3 of the 5 elements of the First Amendment, the right to, free speech, the right to protest, and the right to redress our grievances with our government, these things are in violation right now across the country in all the schools. Like, do you guys got, like, what are we doing here? The First Amendment is under attack, and if you think that taking it away from prestigious places like Harvard, like, if they can do that, what can they do to us? What can they do to us nobodies? They're talking about deporting people, they're talking about all this shit, and like I say, with DIRECT, I think DIRECT has been purposefully distracted with that Lane, whatever his name is, Lane something or other bullshit that he's been dealing with. Because they got him on an emotional level. He's super protective of himself and his family, and I don't blame him. And this doofus got all of this attention from DIRECT. And while that's happening, they're destroying the Constitution at the highest levels. Like, this is really fucking serious. And I can't understand why, I guess I can't. We need to unify. There is no negative. We just need to unify. Imagine if the DIRECT, Press NH, all these guys descended upon Washington and started filming in Washington and doing what they need to do. Some people don't have media training, that's all. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people, the vast majority of people are followers, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're following the right things, there's nothing wrong with being a follower. But God, I got a mustache hair that's going into my mouth. I hate when that happens. Get that motherfucker out. But we have to acknowledge it, and then we have to acknowledge the why, the thing that people aren't talking about. They're destroying the Constitution over Israel. This doofus, he's a Holocaust denier. Yes, I am a proud Holocaust narrative denier. The narrative that we're given about the Holocaust is not true. And it's the same people that control the narrative from that to the government. Like, you know, how many, what other countries are people allowed to be dual citizens with and still serve in our government? Yeah, sure, you're running from this one. A lot of people do. Why does everybody run from this one? Why have we been so brainwashed that we accommodate this cult in thinking that we're not supposed to talk about them? Everybody that believes in America first, America this, the First Amendment, the Constitution, anything like that, you should understand that Israel is the enemy of that. And you're seeing it happen in real fucking time. And unless you're one of them, and even if you're one of them, I don't, like, if you're a J and you're like, no, I don't, why do you hate the Jays, and why do you, you know, if you can't understand what's going on here, you know, if you can't understand the idea that you believe that you're chosen by God and the rest of us are here to service you, that's an issue. I don't, you know, I guess that's on you. But we need to step up. You know, we need to step up. Liberty Lens audits, you know, this is the ultimate liberties are being taken from you. Like I said, the things that you're doing in your local municipality or in the regional area, it's nothing compared to what's happening right now. You know, they're taking all your tax dollars. They're taking, you know, the revenue generators are going around generating revenue that's being taken and given to Israel so they can murder people. Why do people think that they're not supposed to talk about the Jays? How have you been trained? How have you been programmed that you think that's the way it should be? You know, I mean, literally, I'm asking you, why is it? What do you think? You know, have you even thought about that? Have you ever thought about why you defend such an abomination like Jayism? Have you ever thought about why you feel like you shouldn't say these things? Why, you know, in a country where you're allowed to protest the United States government, you're allowed to redress your grievances against the United States government, but you're not allowed to protest against a foreign government? You're not allowed to protest against Israel? What's up, Beef? Yeah, dude.
Which one? Being able to summon French fries infinitely anytime you want, or live in a world where French fries, but you have to live in a world where nuggets don't exist. Would you take that power?
I have no idea. No, I don't care. Summoning French fries does nothing for me. No, you guys just, you know, my channel started shortly before it started getting cold. So, well, my lives on YouTube, daily lives, started shortly before it was getting cold. So you've only been here and seen my feeds while it was wintertime in Michigan. If anybody thought I would be outside in wintertime in Michigan, you must not know Michigan very well. You know, everything I told you guys was gonna happen is happening. More than I fucking realized. But I told you guys that they were gonna do the thing where they cut the funding to the schools and universities. Trump signed that legislation on the Tuesday in between, you know, after Kobe died on Sunday. Kobe died on Sunday. Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, only thing people were talking about was the Kobe thing. And then that Wednesday was the day that the one of his impeachments was said to come to a close. So Wednesday, everybody was talking about that. On that Tuesday, Trump signed the legislation with Netanyahu right there, putting his hand on his shoulder and shit. Signed the legislation that said all colleges and universities had to be pro-Israel and remove any anti-Israel sentiment at the risk of losing federal funding. And then Netanyahu gave this speech about, Jared Kushner. Well, I've known Jared for a very long. I've known Jared, and he did like this. I've known Jared since he was like this high. Like he did one of these motions in front of his waist, since he was like this high. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say how long I've known Jared. And that's when he called Trump the greatest friend that Israel and the Israeli people have ever known. And when asked about the Palestinian situation, Trump tried to back out of it, but Netanyahu was like, no, I'll answer. And he went to start answering it, and of course the camera's cut, and that was Trump just signed it. What's happening now was a result of what happened all the way back then. Trump with the Abraham Accords as to why none of the other countries, none of the Arab countries are coming to the rescue of those poor Palestinians. And if the funny thing is everybody thinks that Palestine, that Gaza is this Muslim place when there's a ton of Christians that live there or lived. They've been subsequently killed since then. Since the false flag that was October 7th, where no Israelis were died or were taken hostage. I mean, if you don't believe it, go look at the hostage videos. Go look at all the videos of the pre-release where it shows the people getting ready to be released and they're smiling and laughing and joking and saluting the hostage takers. Or the other video where the Israeli kisses the hostage taker on the forehead and kisses it's not real. All of the hostage takers, they're always, these guys in their uniforms with their balaclavas on and their bright green headband, which makes all the sense. If you want to know where the headshot should be, just look for the bright green headband. But, to think that those guys are actually, Hamas and Arabs, you're wrong. Their identity's hidden. And it's just Israelis underneath those balaclavas. It's all bullshit. And anybody that's an America supporter, anybody that's a veteran, anybody that's anything like that, the free speech, free amendment, First Amendment type of people, they should be up in arms about this. That they're attacking college students, which is strange because it's the richest and most powerful too. Like famous people are the ones that send their kids to Harvard and Yale and all that shit. All these famous people have their kids at these prestigious schools, and they're getting arrested, they're being, beaten, they're being all these things for doing a First Amendment protected activity. There's literally nothing illegal or wrong about what they're doing. And yet their children are being arrested and beaten, and they're not saying anything. This guy keeps saying denier, like I'm like, no, I don't deny it. No. Like, yeah, I do. What's the point? Like, this is the best you can come up with, right? Because you can't actually say anything against what I'm saying. So you're saying this as I don't know, like, is it to jump off? Is it so that we start talking about it? Because I'm proud to deny that narrative. I just don't understand. Like, well, I do. I understand that you're utterly fucking stupid and this is the best you can do. I get that. But I just don't understand that motivation. Again, you're stupid. I just have to keep reminding myself, it's just stupid. You deny the Holocaust. Yes, I do. Now what? Now what, stupid? Most ignorant person on the internet. Yep, that's why you watch me day after day, month after month, all the time, hours at a time, right? I'm the most ignorant because you're saying stupid shit and I'm asking you to elaborate and you can't. Holocaust is complete BS. Yes, it is. It's total bullshit. Which is why the J-controlled Hollywood didn't make any movies about it when it was supposedly happening. You know, that's why nobody talked about it while it was happening. The narrative was created after the fact. Now it's 8 million. Last time he said it was 9. Same dumbass said last time, we were 9 million people. No. And the funny thing is that this guy is so stupid, he doesn't even know his own argument. You know, they don't even claim it's 9 million people. But this guy, you know, this is what my opposition looks like. You're part J. No shit. You're stupid as fuck. You know, I absolutely knew that already. You didn't have to say that. That level of stupidity is a J trait. And to say I'm part J just shows how dumb you are, because J isn't a race. It's a belief structure. Nobody says I'm part Christian. Well, I'm part Muslim. Well, I'm part Buddhist. Nobody says shit like that. No, he's a bot. He's just a bot. This is a fucking Israeli Team Jorge bot trying their very best. Like, seriously, this is their best. If this doofus could come up with something better, he absolutely would. But he can't. You know, the whole free Israel from the Palestinians. Yeah, I mean, that's just such a stupid thing for someone to say. You know, it just shows you the narrative. It shows you who is behind this. And every time they do this stuff, it just proves my point. I'm telling you, the only people dumb enough to oppose me are the Jays. And they're so stupid they can't do a good job of it. They have every right to their land. Who said it's theirs? Oh yeah, the stupid Bible that they wrote and gave to us. The Bible that's actually a Jewish narrative. It's a Jewish story. People say Jesus was a Jew. It's like, yeah, everybody in that book is. Everybody. The whole story is them. But this is what they do. This is the best they could do. They have the right to their land, right? Because God promised that land to the Jews in the Bible. They're just stupid. The Jews, it's not historical. No, they don't. No, they don't. To the land of Israel, known as Promised Land, which is the key part. It's so stupid. Like, this is their narrative. This is their arguments. Well, because we say it's our land, then we deserve that land. They don't actually give any sort of real evidence. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Now, they have a connection to the land. Oh, but nobody else does. And what is a connection to land anyway? They have a connection to it. Oh, they feel it. Oh, that's the land of the... Shut up. It's so stupid. Imagine thinking you're chosen by God. Exactly. Especially when you see them and you see how physically and like socially unattractive they are. They're chosen, all right. It's the promised land by J tradition and God. Okay, see again, look at this. He's just saying dumb shit. The only argument he has is a biblical one. What argument is that? That's stupid. It's all in the Bible. The King James Bible, right? The King James Bible, because, you know, we don't like talking about that. The establishment of modern day Israel in 48, renewed Jewish independence, and the establishment. You mean the taking, especially when you see the evil they commit. So God-chosen people do the most evil, makes most... It does. It's just what it is. They just took the land. Well, we did, actually. They used the Americans to take the land, because you can't have Israelis taking over a land when Israel doesn't exist, right? But look at how stupid this guy is. This guy's whole argument is it's in the Bible. The Bible says it. You know, the Bible, that fake-ass nothing story. It's dumb. Oh, I would do great things for Israel. Of course he has. He's a J puppet. He's a piece of shit puppet. He does what his masters tell him. Yeah. And of course, again, do you guys see the ugliness coming through? It's just ugliness, because that's all they have is ugliness. Israel is on borrowed time. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, their narrative is coming to a close. Yeah. And when I'm running for president in 2028, so when I'm president in 2028, that'll be that's the platform we're running on. Get them the fuck out of here. If you want to belong to that cult, then you can go live in your made up place. And see, people, they have you, you know, they've given you some things you're allowed to say. Free Palestine is something you're allowed to say. You know, Zionism is allowed to be the bad guy. When the reality is, it's the entire cult. The cult is just disgusting. The Bible is God's voice written. No, that's not it. That's not how that works. Yeah, the King James Bible. Yeah. So stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, there's literally no, it makes no sense. It's a poorly written, you know, it's a terrible story. It's so stupid. You know, the more I read of it, it's all factual. Oh God. Yep. It's all factual, all right. Yeah, and keep cutting and sucking those baby penises, because that's fucking good too, right? Gotta love that part. That cutting and sucking of bloody baby penises. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. Help a motherfucker out. It's all factual. Give me something that's provable from the Bible. Give me something. Give me some sort of proof that's undeniable. You read it and you go, okay, there it is. Yeah, you can see how that. None of it's true. It's all just some goofy fairy tale. Contradicts itself, and it's just stupid. It really is stupid, and it's clearly made to manipulate a peasant people who don't know any better. Yeah, I absolutely do not believe in mutilating of babies, especially the mutilating then molesting because you put it in their mouth, you sick fucks. Or you watch the oil do it. One of the two. He really thinks we didn't land on the moon either. We definitely didn't. But look at all the ad hominem. Because the doofus can't make any arguments, he's going to start saying other shit. He can't argue why we should be cutting and sucking baby penises. Because that's a fucking, that makes sense. Get a real job. Now we're going with get a real job. Running out of shit to say, aren't you? I love when they start, like, actually feeling stupid themselves, so they start, like, doing all this shit, tripping over themselves and saying all this dumb shit. They make it so easy. They make it so easy. Don't you think if the Jays were actually good, that this person could come, any person could come in here and start giving me examples of good stuff that represents them? Like, instead of coming and talking all this stupid shit, proving the point, why don't they ever come in here and just be like, well, there's this, and you're wrong because of this and this. High definition photos from the lunar have captured evidence of the landing surfaces and footprints. Yeah, they have. Sure they have. Yep. Those high resolution cameras we all have access to. Sure. We did it in 69. We were capable of doing something in 1969, just like the Concorde. And here we are in 2025, fucking 56 years later. We can't do it, because that makes sense. You're just so ignorant. You're so ignorant. It's just astonishing how ignorant you are to the world and its history. Yeah, because I don't believe it. That makes me ignorant to it. because I know it. Like, I know that history, so that sort of overrides it. But that's, again, this is how stupid the Jays are. They're just stupid. You would think with if they're so great, they're so proud, they're so good, this guy would have better things to say. Yeah, the Apollo was broadcast. No, it wasn't broadcast live. See, there you go again. It wasn't. It was shown initially in Australia, and even then, it was a camera was filming another screen. It wasn't like the feed was directly plugged into the feed. You know, it wasn't like they got the direct feed. They were filming another screen. But nah, that's okay. Oh, just so stupid. Just so stupid. Just more J propaganda. Like again, the common sense it takes to understand that they claim we did something in '69, but we've forgotten how to do it in 2025. If you believe that's true, you're probably a dumb J. Earth is not, I'm not going to say the earth is flat, but I won't say it's round either. It's not a round ball flying through space. But see, this is all distraction shit. You know? Because this person can't argue anything good on Israel's behalf or the J's behalf, they start bringing up this very popular argument about the earth shape and whether we went to the moon and all that shit, of which we can't know the truth of anyway until we Goyim unify and overthrow the J's that control the narrative, right? Because it won't matter. All you're doing is spinning your tires and arguing about, you know, well, they told me this, well, they told me that. That shit doesn't matter. Earth thinks the earth is shaped like an egg. Earth does, huh? Like stupid, just stupid shit. But like I say, this is, you know, the earth shape argument is a more popular argument. And it's something that you know, that round earthers always lose. I mean, they're just stupid. But it so doesn't matter in the scheme of things. When you compare it to what's happening right now, when you compare it to the, you know, the genocide, the pedophilia, the First Amendment assault, you know, all these things are trump the earth shape argument. It's almost as though there's something we can objectively measure. It's almost as though it's something we can objectively measure. I don't even know. We can't objectively do any of it. We just have to go with what they tell us. And when you start paying attention, you see that the people telling you the narrative time and time again are Jay. It's like the whole discoveries under the Giza pyramid, right? So when you look that up, the first news report that comes up is some podunk news thing, like some offshoot news thing. But of course, the host is some J broad, and she's talking about how new discoveries under the pyramid, blah blah blah. We're gonna bring on this expert who happens to be some dumb J broad who says things like, well, I don't know the technology that was being used, and I don't know how many of the columns were seen or anything like that, but, you know, and she just says this whole dumbass narrative. She has like 3 minutes that she speaks, and at one point she forgets to say something, so the host, who, you know, obviously it's not the first time that they're speaking about this, or the host is not oblivious to what she's supposed to be saying. The host says, oh yeah, and what does pyramid mean? And she was like, oh yeah, in Egyptian, pyramid means column. She does one of those things. But she's so stupid. She sounds like they get the dumbest sounding woman, who then at the very end goes, and it may just be the columns from the story of Exodus. So she has to bring up the J nonsense. I study astronomy. It's my job. I understand high school physics about all it takes. Right. Yeah, that's where we go. No, like you're familiar with that, right? Because it's the people that deny the things that seem to, they don't know anything. They're just denying it because it's fun to do. It's not based off of the information available. Nah. Yeah, this guy studies astronomy. I'm sure it's his job. We have an astronomer on here. So it behooves this guy, like let's just say he is an astronomer. He makes his money literally doing nothing all day. They look at the stars all, like it's nothing. They do nothing. He has a good job, his house, his cell phone, his family, his car, everything is dependent on us believing the bullshit narrative. Because if we don't believe the bullshit narrative, his job becomes obsolete. But yeah, it's all right. Let's see. You deserve everything you're choosing to bring back into the modern world. William. I guess that's my name now. I was just asking. I'm not one way or another, especially on the moon landing, because I know who the narrative comes from. Exactly. Right. You're literally in a park denying it because it's fun to do. Yup. I'm in a park. Look at the park I'm in. See? So I always say this. When somebody is so desperate to make an argument that they'll say stupid things that are easily debunked, it shows you that they're willing to say anything. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. They're just hoping that something hits the wall, something sticks to the wall. So they just start saying any stupid thing they can come up with. And they literally lose all credibility at that point. Because you know that they're just willing to say anything. Anything to stay on their side of the fence. And I always appreciate when people are dumb enough to do that. I'd love to invite to the workplace, but they don't allow homeless. Yep, I'm homeless now. I'm homeless with my cell phone. Yep. Talking about would you understand? They don't, this is a bot. This is a bot. This is, anybody who supports anything Israel is a bot. They're just pieces of shit. Yeah, that is your username. Yeah, that's what my username is. I don't hate anymore. You should hate. See, that's the thing, is they've tricked you into thinking you shouldn't hate. It's okay for you to love things, which is a 4-letter word, a sound, a click, a whistle that we make that means this broad range of things. But then they trick you into thinking you could feel this way, but you can't feel the opposite of it. Well, how can you feel love if you can't feel hate? You should have a good relationship with your hate. I am so proud to hate pedophiles. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to make me not hate pedophiles to my core. Wish they all fucking die. Wish they all get put in prison where they aren't in a protected wing and they're allowed to be raped to death. That's what I wish would happen. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to hate Semitism. I'm proud of my anti-Semitism because I know what words mean. And Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. It's supremacy. Semitism is supremacy. So I am proudly anti-supremacy. It's important that you understand that you're like everything. The revolution isn't this or that. It's everything. They've controlled your perception. They control how you think. And if they control how you think before you think it, then it doesn't matter what. Controlling how you think is so much more important than controlling what you think. If you believe the earth is round, then now you can believe in dinosaurs. Now you can believe that rocks can fall out of the sky and wipe out huge pieces of land. You believe that you're insignificant. You're just a little tiny piece of micro stardust. You're just nothing. But most importantly, the whole disaster aspect of things. At this point, they could blow up any city they want to. And then they just say, oh, well, it was a rock fell out of the sky. The giant rock fell out of the sky. That's what happened. And people will believe it. Yeah, I'm not even worried about this idiot's fucking... Once you lose your credibility, proving that you'll say anything, you know, you might as well stop commenting, because I'm not going to give you any more airtime. So now it just said I had 0 watchers. I have at least 2 or 3 people commenting, but I have 0 watchers. You know, I'm so proud of my hate. I hate that fucking cult. That woman-hating, baby penis cutting and sucking, genocidal, fucking arrogant supremacist cult. I fucking hate it. And I'm proud as shit to say so. And all these comments ever do is prove the point even more. Because as I said, it's not like anybody comes in here and starts telling me like what I'm wrong about. Oh no, they're good because of this. Oh no, it's okay because it's one of the most important mitzvahs. You know? Yes, the women's vaginas are so toxic that they need to be cleansed once a month. It tells you everything you need to know. Yes, you're absolutely clueless. Follow me and I'll send you an entire documentary that will crush your entire worldview. There's not a single dinosaur skull anywhere in the world. Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, just dumb. Yeah, suddenly in 1875, dinosaurs just started to be discovered. Nobody discovered them prior to this. Nobody found the bones. Nobody put them together. Nobody did anything prior to 1875 when the Freemasons came up with it. Gotcha, that makes sense. I mean, what kind of stupid shit is that? How stupid do you have to be? See, the real challenge is to get yourself to the point where you understand it's all a lie. The best documentary you can watch is actually Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is the best one you can watch. And it's really simple as to why. You know, every other documentary that's out there, every other thing that questions the reality is thrown into the conspiracy theory pile, right? So, you know, people can just deny it because it's a conspiracy theory. And that's all a lot of people need. Hollywoodism is a documentary made by them. They made the shit. They made it, and they made it as a braggart video, as a way to brag about what they've accomplished. And so you know, there's no standard, oh, that's just no, this is them. They made it, and they brag about how they absolutely controlled Hollywood. They created it, they did all that, but how they used Hollywood to create the America that they want to live in. The American dream is a J dream, as they say. Oh, don't even waste your time on Daniel. Daniel's an idiot. Daniel's another one of these guys who can't admit when he's wrong. Tell me why Jays have been kicked out of every country they've ever been in. Or do you know? Well, I think the main reason is the circumcision shit. I mean, a lot of it has to do with how they treat people, and a lot of it has to do with, you know, who they are and their arrogance and their demands for, you know, Semitism, supremacy. But at the end of the day, it's like so the reason that Hanukkah is celebrated, right? Hanukkah is a celebration of the Maccabee revolt. The Maccabee revolt happened, you know, 200 something BC. Again, if you believe this bullshit, obviously it's not true, but according to their narrative, in the minus 200s, somebody, the Maccabees, the Seleucids or Seleucids or I don't know how you say it. They were the main power structure in the area at the time, and they had outlawed, well, they hadn't necessarily outlawed Judaism, but if you read the narrative given to you, they say these things. They say that they were forced to eat meat that wasn't kosher, which, again, how do you fucking do that? That's stupid. They were forced to worship on Sunday and not Saturday. Again, how do you do that? You can't stop people from worshiping. And the third thing, which is actually the major thing, is that circumcision was outlawed. So the Maccabees was this family, this one guy in particular, it was like, fuck that, we're going to circumcise. So he decided to go against the prohibitions of the time and circumcise himself and his family. And then he went around the country, again, just fucking stupid, but he went around because he knew where all the other Jays lived and he was somehow able to travel to them. And he would go to their house or to their land, and he would offer them the opportunity to either circumcise and join the revolt or be killed. The Jays were killing Jays. And so eventually they built up a large enough army, you know, all these people walking around, you have an army walking around this country, this countryside. You know, where do they eat? Where do they sleep? You know, how do they do this? How do they, we're not supposed to ask those questions. This is minus 200 something. Minus 232 or some shit. So they eventually build up enough people to attack the Seleucid Empire, where after years of battle, they finally win the right to circumcise again. So that's what Hanukkah is all about. You know? Because cutting and sucking baby penises is the number one thing. Answer the question. They're not going to answer the question. He can't answer the question. He's not here to answer the questions. He's here to create, division. He's here to create dissent. He's here to distract and deflect and try to get people to focus on stupid shit. And the thing is, because they're so stupid, they don't realize that them avoiding all of these things actually does answer the question. Silence is a response. It's just not the response they think it is. God, the stupidity is just fluent. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe in the Seleucid Empire. I'm going off the narrative we're given, you dumb fuck. How can you be so stupid? Oh, so you can have so you can accept information you've read? Wow, look at how stupid this is. Am I accepting the information? No. I'm going off of the narrative that they want us to know. Like, look at how desperately stupid this person is. This is why this person usually gets ignored. This person gets ignored and still comes back here every day for hours at a time so he can stroke off himself and his other Team Jorge people. Oh. Yep, Lola's really, yep, that's what we are. So me doing my feed, that you could be literally doing anything else. Or you could be here saying intelligent things. You coming here to talk shit for hours on end and distract and deflect and all, that is a good person. Not the person who opposes pedophilia. Not the person who opposes genocide. Not the person who opposes the assault on our rights. Nah, I'm the bad guy. It's so fucking stupid. It is the usual argument because it's all they have. They can't. This is listen. Always keep this in mind. This is the very best they can do. They've had months now, months to prepare for this moment. They've had months to gather as much information as they can and practice what they're going to say and all these other things. They've had months. They know exactly what I'm going to say. This is what I say every day. This is what I do. Just like with the First Amendment people, just like with Direct D, right? The guy knows exactly who he is and what he's doing, what he's all about. They'll even say things like, "You're just trying to bait us. You're just trying to bait us in." And then they fall for it. They don't realize that saying, "You're just trying to bait us," is them falling for it. They're taking the bait by just saying something that stupid. And it's, it's the same thing here. It's just phenomenal to see how they do this. Man, this park sure is nice. This park I'm in. None of them. And it's the THEIR. It's funny, they always try to go after how people live. So when the internet pedo people first got started, and guys like Justin Payne were first getting started, there was this documentary made in Canada, and the You're Done Bud guys, they were one of 3 groups interviewed, and the only thing that the news could do or say to sort of go against what was going on was they were like, "You're just doing this to sell t-shirts, aren't you? We understand that you have t-shirts." And it's like, well, how the fuck else is the person supposed to live? How the fuck else is the person supposed to... How the fuck else is the person supposed to pay for their life? There's life to be had. But when you go after that, when you act like people aren't supposed to have money, people aren't supposed to live, it just goes to show you they have no argument. Think about it. They're desperately trying to get my attention. And I've told them time and time again, if you really want my attention, if you really want to make me feel bad and because obviously that's their goal with all the shit talk that they say, all the dumb things they try to, your wife, you're in a park, all that. They're trying to be like mean. If you really wanted to get me, all you'd do was point out what I'm getting wrong. You'd make me look stupid. You'd crush my arrogance, my ego. Instead, they come here day after day after day, begging for my attention with stupid shit. It says everything. He just entertains me at this point. So again, this guy is entertained by the person that says we should kill pedos. He also acknowledges he's a half J. For me pointing out all of the pedo stuff, the J stuff, all that stuff, he's entertained by that. And apparently I am the most entertaining thing in the world. He could be watching any TV show. He could be watching any other YouTube channel, any other podcast. He could be out in his garden. He could be watching porn and jerking off. And instead, he's going to come here and beg for my attention. Because, that hurts my feelings. Oh, I must be doing something wrong. Do you not see how stupid you sound? I mean, I hope you never do, because, it'll ruin the feed. Every time I talk about the pedophilia, every time I talk about the Constitution, all these things, and instead they want to bring up stupid shit, that's them acknowledging you're right about what you're saying. I can't say anything bad about that, but what about this? But what about that? It's better than if people were here agreeing with me. You know, it's fucking, if people were just agreeing with me, then people would say, oh, those are just yes men. They'll agree with anything you say. But when you see people so desperately trying to come up with anything to try to make me upset, yeah, what's their motivation? What brought them here to begin with? Yeah, that money.
What?
Money.
Oh, you need 6 extra minutes.
Okay.
Can't do that.
I didn't. No. I don't know, it's just it's incredibly motivating. It's incredibly empowering. You know, for me to step up and be like, I'm the baddest motherfucker in this bar. Anybody wants to test me, come on right now. And nobody ever does. Everybody is just so fucking scared, so intimidated by me that they never do. It's amazing. You know, I do have to give credit. The one dude tried to argue using the Bible because the Bible says, but doesn't want to address, you know, anything else about that Bible and where it comes from and, you know, the other things it says. Because they're stupid. They don't know things. And claiming that you're allowed to commit genocide today because a book that's supposedly 2,000 years old really comes from 1611, but and that's even if you believe in 1611, which I absolutely don't. But the fact that you know that's how you want to do it's just it's hilarious. The Bible. It's so stupid. There's not a single fucking reasonable verse in there that anybody can ever give me that makes sense. They don't want to fucking talk about, you know, things like Matthew 24:34, which says, verily I say unto you, none of these things shall come to pass until every one of this generation has died. Like, and that was what Jesus said, because Jesus always said verily, verily, verily. Jesus said that to one of the disciples when asked, you know, after Revelations was told, and they're asked, you know, hey, when's all this stuff supposed to happen, Jesus? It's such a dumb story. It's so bad. It's just such a bad story. Try and stop his ramblings, because we all know you're Y-O-U-R, a embarrassment to yourself, so we don't stop you. So this is the best. So this person said, I haven't seen a single person here actually try and stop his ramblings, because we all know you're Y-O-U-R, a, not an, a embarrassment to yourself. So we don't stop you. It's entertaining. It's funny. Sure. If you think pedophilia, genocide, the assaults on, if you think all that stuff is funny, you're a dumb J. Like, all you're doing is reiterating the point. All you're doing is saying the same things. Yeah, I know, you're the type of piece of shit that doesn't say, fuck yeah, we need to do everything we can to stop the pedophilia. You're not somebody that says, fuck yeah, we need to stand up for our rights and not let Trump and the Israeli occupation, you know, take our rights away. You're not that type of person. You're not the type of person that steps up and we need to stop this genocide because it's insane. Yeah, we know. I know. Thank you. Multiple examples. It's like they just can't help it. It's like they're in competition to be like, no, I'm dumber. No, I'm dumber. And the funny thing is, I flat out explain it to them. And everybody that's not in that group, that's not, part of the team, they always say it, like, they all get it. The real people come in and say it all the time, like, these people are stupid, blah, 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 blah. But this person's going to tell me you're, Y-O-U-R, a embarrassment. Like that says everything you need to know. That's the intelligence level of the people coming at me. If you're going to tell somebody that they're stupid, you better make sure you get it spelled right. Because you can't be calling people stupid and not spelling it correctly. It's just a no-no. I am from France. Hi from France. What's up, France? I've said it before, the French people are fucking boss, man. It's funny how, as Americans, we've been taught to think the French are such pussies and the French are, cowards and this, that, and the other thing, when the French are the ones standing up to the system. French are the ones having the protest. The French were the ones protesting before they did the COVID. The French were a big reason why COVID was initiated. It's the war is a psychological one. The war is over how you think, because again, what you think is secondary. If they control how you think about things, how you perceive things, then what is just a symptom of that. And you see it every fucking time, every single thing, every single argument. I am fine, thank you. People will write stupid on a video because the other way will get it flagged. Yours, so what if it's spelled incorrectly? No, you did get your point across. You absolutely did. The point being, you're an idiot. It's not like the phone doesn't tell you the right version to use. You're too stupid. Like I said, again, this isn't something I should have to explain. If you're gonna call somebody stupid but not spell it right, that says everything. When you put the A where the N is supposed to be, or vice versa, it just shows you how stupid you are. Like, I definitely am not intimidated or affected negatively by somebody who can't, who my kids spell better than. My kids aren't allowed to do that. They get in trouble for that in their school, in their middle school. If you can't even fucking, use middle school, I mean, you can't even spell things correct on a middle school level. Obviously, everything else, your opinion can't be trusted. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your education clearly stopped somewhere in early elementary school. This is how it works every single time. If only the French spoke English, we would know much more. I mean, I think they do for the most part. He says the guy who knows submarines aren't real. Yes. Just like with every other thing, I've destroyed the narrative, and all you can say is, no, because you're too stupid to think about anything else. It's fantastic. People are going to argue with me about something when they've done no research whatsoever. Okay. Keep jumping. Keep coming up with anything else you can come up with, because you're definitely not going to talk about how bad the pedophilia is. You're definitely not going to talk bad about the government and how they're a our rights and the genocide that's going, you're not going to talk bad about those things because you like those things. Well, you have a job to do and you do it poorly. It's just what it is. At the end of the day, yeah.
He just did it to me.
Okay. You know, you have to love the people that complain about what I'm doing and then watch me. Because it's so entertaining to get made fun of. It's so entertaining to be the fucking stupid that I need you to be. You'd think if you were really gonna like make fun of me and try to like, you know, bother me and interfere with me, you would do a better job. You know, like you would come at me with some sort of educated point of view, but it just never happens. Because, again, what can anybody say? How is anybody going to justify Metitza bet? I mean, I'm sure, other than the dumb J's on here, the rest of you don't even know what that is. That's the sucking of the baby penis. Metitza bitba. Brit Milah. You know? How are you going to justify your mikvahs? Go ahead and tell me why the woman's vagina is so fucking awful. Please, I'd love to hear it. Of course they're not going to say anything. They can't say anything. I don't have to worry about the arguments. I don't have to worry about the comments. The comments are just dumb J rambling bullshit. All of it's ad hominem. All of it's crybaby. Not one thing is going to address anything. Not one thing. Because what kind of person is going to sit there and no, it's okay to suck on the bloody baby penis. Because it's okay. Because the Bible says so. Who's going to say that? We choose not to argue. We just want to come on here and beg for attention saying dumb shit. But we don't want to make any intelligent arguments. That'll show you. Oh, how amazing is that? How amazing is that? That's how stupid the Jays are. I mean, I just can't, you know. These people are only here because I allow them to be. If I decided they shouldn't be here, you know, they wouldn't be here. Then they'd make another fake account. And after a little while, they'd quit. They'd sure make a bunch of fake accounts, though, to be able to watch me. That's for damn sure. But, you know, I could argue with you, but I choose not to. I just choose to come here for hours on end, playing the fucking fool. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. But we really should be addressing the whole First Amendment thing. You know, this is so dangerous. This is so scary. And it's an extension of this feed, right? Because they can't do what these idiots do to me. You know, when the people start, you know, joining in mass and protesting this and protesting that, they can't be like, well, your haircut's stupid and your house is this and you're in. You know, they can't do that. It'll be too many of us, too much at one time. So they're gonna instead stop it. Those are the two options. You know, they either prevent it altogether or they try to interfere. And there's no way to interfere with with the bigger issue. So they're trying to stop it. Why would any American think it's okay that we can protest the United States, but we can't protest Israel? Why would any American want to give a first world country, state, whatever you want to call it? I'm pretty sure they're the 51st United States. It's just fucking hidden from us. But why would anybody think we should give them our tax dollars so they can murder people? Why would anybody agree with that? I mean, I get that sometimes people think that they're our ally, but then as soon as you go, okay, give me an example of how. How do they benefit? How do we benefit from that relationship? You know, they're going to realize there's nothing to it. Everything is fake to this guy. Not the genocide, not the pedophilia, not the assault on our rights, not the J slavery. These things are all very real. But hey, you keep trying, buddy. You're getting there. At least you got attention. At least you got some attention. I hope that's worth $5 for you. It's wild, man. They are, you know, all the things that have happened, all the protests, all the everything, that hasn't been enough to make it illegal. But when you have college students protesting, peacefully protesting, doing it the right way, peacefully protesting the United States tax dollars being stolen and given to the Israelis to commit murder, that's a much bigger issue. Like that's tremendous. And if you as an American, a veteran, whatever, if you're not bothered by that, like you really are a brainwashed sheep. Protesting is American as apple pie. The crazy part is protests don't work. You know? There's no protests that happen and then the law changes because of it. You know, even this protest worked against us. You know, instead of bowing to the will of the people, which, you know, new studies come out that show that, like, the majority of Americans don't support Israel. Especially people under 50. Oh, look, nothing coming out of that plane. There's nothing coming out of that plane. Nothing coming out of that plane. You know, it's pretty fucking crazy, man. You know, if you have a business in more than half of the states, and you have any sort of, you know, you get big enough, and you have any sort of contract with any sort of state agency or whatever, you have to sign something that says you won't boycott Israel. They don't say that about England. They don't say that about Australia. There's nothing like that anywhere. The only country that we're not allowed to protest is Israel. That's fucking insane. Like, it's just wild. $3.8 billion a year. Can you imagine the good that $3.8 billion a year would do for our economy, for our society? And that's just the least amount. That's just the base amount. They end up getting much more than that every year. Trump just approved another $16 billion in weapons against the people that use rocks and fucking sticks and shit. They don't have any weapons themselves. Look at all these dumb Jays in the comments, crying and crying. These are all genocide supporting psychopaths. And the best part is they're all fucking cowards. They're all little pussy cowards. You know, they're not going to do anything, like, they're not going to ever step up. You know, the only time you see Israelis getting violent, Jays getting violent, is when there's military standing behind them, when the IDF is standing behind them. Then they're big tough guys. Or if the victims are women or old people or whatever, and it's a group of then they're tough guys. Did you see the story of the crazy ass Hasidic Jay pushing that black man out of the wheelchair? Dude, if the video was reversed and it would have been some black guys that pushed the Jay out of a wheelchair, oh my God, they would have been deported. You know, it would have been national news. It'd be the biggest story. It'd be a hate crime. It'd be all these crazy things. But you're not going to see that one on national news, are you? Disgusting. The disgusting pig that he was. Pushed an old man out of a wheelchair. On camera, because he didn't care. You know, oops. Hit the wrong button, my bad. Just fucking, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And you know, again, where are all the famous people? Where are all the money people that can afford to send their kids to the Harvard and all that shit? Harvard, the Yale, the Columbias, all these different big money schools. Why aren't they standing up? Why aren't they, you know, standing up for the rights of children? They pay a shit ton of money so their kids can go to this school. The funny thing is, the only time you ever see students interviewed, it's either the Jay's crying, it's difficult because we don't like what they're saying, and if we don't like what they're saying, then they shouldn't say it. Or they'll be like the plants. That the one time I saw the other side was this female who was interviewed, and they were like, what are you protesting for? And she's like, I don't even know why I'm protesting. What are we protesting? They're trying to make it sound like people are stupid. They never want to interview the guy with the microphone, that's for sure. Yep. I believe some crazy shit. Trump didn't just do the cutting the funding to Harvard thing. That's not real. I'm making that up. That's not First Amendment shit. We don't have the right to protest. We don't have the right to free speech. We don't have a right to redress our grievances with our government. We don't have those rights. And if we do, we shouldn't exercise them. We should just blindly keep giving $3.8 billion at the very least to a murderous, psychopathic regime. Gotcha. What a crazy man I am. It's those same people that continuously get caught raping children in Hollywood. Psst, never mind that. That's nothing. Who gives a shit about that? Trump he's gonna rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Duh. Funny thing is, like, the response that's happening, you're gonna realize sooner or later that Trump is creating the large open air prison that you didn't realize you were in. You don't just get to go to Mexico anymore. If you ever went to the Tijuana border and you walked across and you had fun down in Tijuana and then you came back across and you had to go through a hell of a lot more checkpoint to come back into the United States, but it was pretty easy. Not happening anymore. Mexico was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You stay over there. All these fucking idiots. Trump's gonna raise the tariffs. Trump's gonna do this. Trump's gonna do that. And now that all of our prices are gonna start going up, people are like, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to happen. Yet, hey, you know, just before October 7th, on September 30th, 2023, the Biden administration, pushed Israel through the visa waiver program so that Israelis can come and go to the United States as they please without needing a passport, without needing a visa. Basically, like they're traveling state to state, even though they didn't meet the requirements to be put into said program. Yeah, again, it's been over an hour now, and not a single one of these fucking idiots has made a good point for Israel or for the Jays. And a good, like, no, we're actually good because of this. We're actually, not a single one of them. If you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. That's how stupid they are. They think saying things like that, like, makes us look bad. If you can't look into Israel without demonizing Israel, Israel's bad. What are you gonna do? Well, I'm doing it. What I'm doing is so effective that A, they shut me down, and B, they send fucking fake troll bot profiles here to try to interfere with it, because to shoot the messenger, not to shoot the message because they can't debunk what I'm saying. They send a bunch of fake profiles here to try to make anybody that might be watching this think, oh, he's crazy, he's bad. What are you gonna do about it? Do everything I can to speak about it. Because apparently, you know, according to the system, speaking about it is the most dangerous thing we do. They're literally passing laws to prevent us from speaking about it. So clearly speaking about it bothers them. You know, they know they could never allow me to you know, exist naturally. I get thousands and thousands of views when that happens. And since all I do is tell the truth, there's literally nothing they can do other than shut it down. They're terrified. They're terrified of us. That's what you have, like, they're not going to come out and say it. Of course they're not going to come out and say it. You have to look at what they do. The actions speak louder than words. So when they make it illegal to speak about them, they're saying that speaking about them is dangerous to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't bother. They wouldn't bother passing legislation, making themselves look bad, you know. All the negatives that end up coming and affecting the people and how they see things. They wouldn't do all that. It's stupid. We're real big on free speech and First Amendment. This one's gonna backfire on us. It just takes a minute, man. I mean, they've been manipulating the scene since the scene. We're going against decades of programming, generations of programming. The generation that we were told is the laziest piece of shit generation, the Generation Z or whatever the fuck we're in now. These kids are the worst. They're so lazy, they were never told no, blah, 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 blah. These are the kids that are finally stepping up against the true enemy. The true enemy. And that's the Jays. You don't hear me running around screaming free Palestine, because Palestine is just, it's yesterday's story. Palestine is the thing that we're allowed to say. But you can't tell free Palestine to the Lebanese. You can't tell free Palestine to the Syrians, to the Iranians, to the Yemeni, to all the other countries that are...
Where's, did you take him upstairs? What Lisa dropped off?
Yeah. That are affected or are going to be affected by the Greater Israel Project, by the Ben Gurion Canal. These are real life things. These guys think your single digit numbers are real. Well, I mean, they are, you know. They've shut shit down. I've earned the position I'm in, you know. But at the same time, you have to understand that this feed is you know, has consistently shown 0 watchers when 3 people are commenting. And most of the time when I'm done lately, it's been between 250 and 200 and 300 viewers. So, not sure. What is it? 5? They just come in. Oh, okay, no. Oh, okay, no. Oh, that's what's happening. They're letting 5 viewers in at a time. And every single time, those 5 viewers, along with the, you know, at least 5 trolls, the 5 viewers just leave, and the 5 trolls just, I mean, it's all just stupid. But it's also telling. If prior to, I guess it's February 8th, I thought it was January 28th, but February 28th, or February 8th, I was getting thousands of views, and then suddenly it just stops. I mean, it's obvious. If you're watching, like, share, and sub. You know, most people just don't know that it's okay to say these things. It's okay to be proud to hate things. As I always say, you go ahead and you tell me why I shouldn't proudly hate pedophiles. You never will. You'll never successfully do it. I hate them with everything that makes me who I am. Every fiber of my being, I wish pedophiles... I actually, again, part of my Guy for President campaign is not only that we kick the Jays out, but that we also switch up how we handle pedophiles. And what I think is that we should start a program that, you know, we need to stop pretending that psychopaths don't live among us. Right? There are always going to be psychopaths among us. There are always going to be people that hurt people and rape people and violate people. So instead of making everyone a potential target, why don't we just say, if you have those urges inside you, then you can sign up for the program. And the program basically just says, as long as you don't hurt innocent civilians, every time someone shows up to a Hansen sting or Gordon Flowers busts somebody or anything like that, anytime any of that shit happens, those people get sent over to the person in the program's house. And that person can do with them whatever they please. You can keep them alive and torture them for years if that's what you want to do. Or you can kill them right away if that suits your fancy. But as long as you stay the course and don't hurt innocent people, you will be given one of those people every time the opportunity presents itself. And if you watch anything on YouTube, you'll see that those people could have new people daily if they wanted. That way, we eliminate the potential risk that comes from all those people that we don't know, that aren't on any list. And, it's a true deterrent for anybody. Instead of the idea that you might get a little bit of prison time in a protected wing of the prison where you have Super Nintendos and all that shit at your disposal, if you get caught fucking with somebody, fucking with a child, raping a woman, whatever it may be, you're going to be given to somebody just as bad or worse than you are. Come on. Stop it. Stop. Who's not going to vote for that? Who doesn't think that's a better thing? Who thinks the system that we have right now is a good one and works the best way it can? It's pretty fucking silly, man. And of course, anybody who's not in agreement is probably somebody you should watch out for. What are you even barking at? Oh, the little white dog. Oh, I see. They're like, hey, let me holler at you, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, little white girl. Let me holler at you, girl. Let me just smell it. Come on, let me just smell it. So when I run for president in 2028, you know that I'm running on that pedophile program. You know that I'm running on the platform that we get rid of all the J's. If you want to be part of the J cult, I am sorry to the Palestinians, right? The Palestinians, you will have sanctuary here or wherever you'd like. We'll help you do that, but we are going to give Israel we're going to give the J's Israel. And I would assume that the Palestinians will be able to get their land back relatively quickly, but we'll see. But we're gonna send all the J's to Israel or wherever they want to go. Really, it's just not here. We'll pay for your flight, pay for your a portion of your stuff. Not very much of it. You might get like a voucher. You can move. You can pay to move whatever stuff you want to move. But the law of return says if your grandfather was a J, you can come to Israel and you'll get all the good stuff. So if you want to be a J, you're practicing in any form, you admit that that's who you are, and you don't renounce it. You don't say fuck that. No, we're all even. We're all equal here together. Then you can get the fuck out. And we'll see. I mean, you're not going to have the United States backing anymore. You're not going to have that $3.8 billion a year anymore. You're not going to have any more weapon come in anymore. None of that. We'll just see how well Israel fares on its own. Why wouldn't the Jays want that? They don't need us, Goyim. We're just dumb Goyim. They don't need us. Israel is their promised land, so let's give it to them. They only make up 0.183% of the world's population, 2% of the United States population. We wouldn't miss them. Argumentum ad hominem. Focusing on personal attribute, quality, or characteristic of a person rather than the argument they're making. effectively denying the argument without ever having addressed it. I don't know how else you can, like, what a better example you need than what you see here. Here I go again, knowing things, making logical fucking arguments, using the system against itself. Here I go again. Doesn't happen to me. I mean, if anybody thinks that I don't proudly sit here atop the pile an hour and a half later, knowing that I've said all these things I've said and not a single fucking reasonable voice made any sort of argument against any of it. Like, that is heavyweight champion kind of shit. Mike Tyson in his prime kind of shit. I am clearly the best at this. That's why Alex Jones is allowed to exist. That's why Todd Church's dumbass is allowed to exist. That's why J.M. Peters is allowed to exist. Even though he got all his shit from my video, apparently. He watched my video and thought he'd make his own. You know? They allow these people to exist because they steer you in the wrong directions. The only thing we should be talking about is the J conspiracy. Everything else falls under that umbrella. I mean, even when you're talking about shit like Freemasonry. Freemasonry comes out of Judaism. Everything gets traced back to that shit. All of my Tartaria people, who do you fuck you think kept Tartaria out of our school books, out of our history? Who do you think erased it all? Who do you think, gave the okay to do all the bombings, and destroy all the architecture and all that shit? Who do you think did that? All of you that accept any sort of notion of Tartaria or any sort of notion of a reset, you have to understand that all of the history prior to said reset and even afterward is fake bullshit. If it doesn't talk about the reset, if it doesn't talk about Tartaria, it's fake. That, or you just believe that 1800s construction was just, with horses and hammers and chisels and no power tools, and it was easier back then. People were just harder workers back then. There were less safety requirements back then. It's not even a fucking thing. It's like, it's funny how much weight has been put into the if or that, that kind of art, but it's common sense. You go down to any downtown city that you live in, any major downtown, not even major, just any fucking, there are the buildings scattered everywhere. But go look at the mega churches that sit above the catacombs in whatever city you live in. And not a single person looks at that and goes, yeah, we totally can build that. That makes sense. You always look at it and you go, how the fuck did they build that? And then you see the history, the plaque, 1851. What? How the fuck did they do that? It's all right there. But the thing is, again, whether it's Tartaria, whether it's chemtrails, whether it's vaccines, whether it's, political shit, whether it's the pedophile stuff, whether it's, Hollywood, whatever. The only way that we get the true answers to any of it, the only way we fix any of it, is if we Goyim unite and overthrow the Jays that control the narrative. Anything other than that is a waste of time. It's us doing what they want us to do. If we don't unify, then they're against us. We're against each other. Arguing the information. They told us this. Well, they told me this. Well, they told me that. It's just how we do it. Oh my goodness. My dogs just want to smell her. Just let me just smell her, please. Shut up. It's funny because, like, as much censorship, you know, as many detractors as I get, all the shit that comes my way, I know that even if I were to stop today, the Jays are gonna fall. The cat's out of the bag. You know, the students protesting is so much more prominent than you think it is because the news doesn't tell you about it. But it's huge. It's happening everywhere. From the most prestigious schools to the community colleges, the shit's happening everywhere. He was animate about being Jay, but didn't want to be labeled Russian. Who easy? I used to work with a Russian, and if you asked if he was Russian, he would say, "I'm not Russian, I'm Jay." What's that all about? Because the J identity is more important to them than anything else. They're J before they are anything. And that's even part of the new anti-Semitism definition that you know, if someone like me suggests that Jays are more loyal to Jays than they are to the country they're from, like if we say their Jays are more loyal to Israel than they are to America, that's anti-Semitism. And of course, you're supposed to say, oh no, that's not. Instead of you saying, yeah, proudly anti-Semitism. Like it's how they do it. Their allegiance is to their cult before it's to anything else. And they're making specific rules against us pointing that out because it's dangerous to their manipulation. Because it's true. They're not passing laws that say, you know, against people saying Jay's shit peanut butter. You know, that's a fucking ridiculous thing. Nobody would say that? That's stupid. And even if you did say that, you just get laughed at. They're making specific laws against saying specific things because they know how dangerous the shit is. They're terrified of us. They're terrified. Look at all the energy. Look at the effort that goes into my feed, and I don't even acknowledge it. And yet they still come here begging, competing for my attention. That's because I'm wrong? Right? That's because I'm wrong? No. If I was wrong, they wouldn't bother. They just ignore it. Like they do so many other fucking truther pages. You won't see any of these profiles on any other truther pages. Because all those other truthers are just telling you what they want us to know. All of the conspiracy theories, the new world orders and shit like that, that's all bullshit they want us to fucking know. It takes the spotlight away from them. That's why they make movies about it. National Treasure and the Da Vinci Codes and shit like that. They want you thinking that way. They give you the distraction for a reason. It's a cult. It's a disgusting cult. Again, as much as I hate them, what they do to their own children is disgusting. They don't do that to us. We get circumcised in a much worse way. Well, different worse, but you know. Goyim get circumcised within hours of being born. They get that horrible trauma within hours of being born. The Jays, they wait 8 days because the woman's vagina is so disgusting that the kid has to be purified for 7 days before the moil will touch them. But then on the 8th day, the moil comes, and if you've ever seen the difference between an 8-day-old baby and a newborn baby, it's like drastically different. Then 8-day-old baby is almost double the size. Newborn babies just, it's the worst thing we do. It really is. Circumcising our children is such a fucked up thing. That's why our prisons are so full. It's why we have such a prominent rape culture, and so many things are associated with dicks. Because they mutilate us. You know, they mark their slaves, like the Bible says. Abraham circumcised himself and then all his slaves. And God shows the rainbows in the sky to show that he's never going to destroy the earth again. Yep, I'm a joke. I'm only stating the narrative that you're supposed to know. And because you can't actually intelligently defend it or debunk it, I'm a joke. Yeah? Okay. Keep watching. Keep watching. Circumcision is the worst thing we do. But like I say, what they do to their own children, the molestation that comes after the mutilation, I oppose that shit. That's horrible. That should not be done in our country. That should not be done in our society. That shit should be outlawed on every fucking level. It's the worst fucking thing. It's so bad. The fact that we do it to our own children is just so insane. They've convinced us that we need to do this because it doesn't look right without it. As Americans, we don't think it looks right. We don't think the natural way men are born looks right. They have to be mutilated. And it's not just some loose skin that gets cut off. It's glands. It makes your dick bigger, for crying out loud. It's a necessity. It's why it's there. It's not just extra. God just didn't fuck up. And if he did, why doesn't he just dinkle, dinkle, dink, make it go away? It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. To think you would have anybody on here that's like, no, we should be mutilating children. It says everything, man. It's one thing when you don't realize it, you haven't thought about it, you know, it hasn't been explained to you. But once you know what it is, you know that they take the baby from the mother, put it in the incubator room for a little while, then they, you know, again, this baby is brand new. It still has mom in its eyes and shit. It's just making connections. Like it's just sort of seeing how, you know, what's going on in the world. It's only been alive for a few hours. And they take it, they take it to the cold little operating room where they strap it down in almost a crucifix type of position. And again, baby knows nothing. Baby has no idea what's going on. They put this weird little bell-shaped thing around it, and when they spin it, the blade comes out and slices the baby's penis. And when that happens, the baby screams for a second, ah! And then it goes into shock. And then they take that baby that's in shock, and they take it to the fucking incubator again, into the little waiting room, and they let the baby go through the motions of coming out of being in shock, which then it's exhausted. And when it's exhausted, they then bring it to the parents, and they say shit like, oh, little man had a surgery. He was a tough guy trooper, though. And they hide it from you. And if it was a medical necessity, it'd be done all over the world. In Europe, they flat out say that the benefits do not weigh the risks. The risks outweigh the benefits, however you want to look at it. It's a useless, pointless, well, it's not pointless. It has its point. It's to traumatize us. It's to traumatize, boys from birth so that they right from the beginning, they understand that the world is pain. The psychological damage done to babies over that shit is just, it's unfucking real, man. What exactly is the reason to justify circumcision? Some say it's medical because it prevents diseases. It's stupid. But the other part is the biblical aspect. It's biblical. Abraham made a covenant with God. God said he'd never destroy the earth again as long as as long as the Jays circumcised and then circumcised. I don't even know if God required the circumcision of the slaves, but Abraham did it anyway. It's to mark us as Jay property. It's to traumatize us. There's no legitimate good reason for it. And again, look at all the people on here that aren't like, fuck that, that's disgusting, that's awful, we need to do something about that. You have all these identified Jays, self-identified Jays, sitting here trying to make it sound like I'm crazy because I think we should stop mutilating children. Oh, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know. Think about how disgusting these pieces of shit have to be. Think about it. It's disgusting. Think about the ignorance here too, because, the ones that aren't identified as J claim to be Christian, and yet they don't know what their fucking stupid ass Bible says. Again, Craig, the Buck character is a pretty, a troll that's been here a lot. And somebody that's not talking about stopping this horrible, horrible thing. Why not? What does that say about you? Most most people don't know what circumcision really is. They don't know the process. They just sort of think the baby goes away for a little while, comes back, and it's circumcised. They don't understand the trauma and the whole aspect, everything about it. But once you understand it, if you still support it, you are a motherfucker. You're just a piece of shit. Yeah, and the Jays eat it too, right? The Jays eat the foreskin. They eat the placenta and they eat the foreskin. Not all of them, but more than one does. So that's more than enough, right? Do you know how fucking gross that is? Do you understand how disgusting a culture, a people must be to not only do that, but then in their culture, the moil, who, this is a guy who went into his position knowing that's all he was going to do. That's all he does. The moil doesn't do anything else. The moil goes around performing circumcisions all day. And more than half the time, he's putting the bloody baby penis in his mouth. It's called Metitza Bepa. Probably not saying it right, but Metitza Bepa. And it's the sucking of the bloody baby penis. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Right, because all the Jays you've met, they tell you what they do during circumcision, don't they? They tell you about the bris and the Brit Milah and the Metitza Bepa. They tell you all about that stuff, you arrogant, dumbass piece of shit. Jesus Christ. The stupid, stupid things people say. No one I ever met thought this. Yeah, you know. But the Moyle's job, can you imagine, like, going into a job knowing that's what you're going to do? How many of you would do that job? If I said, hey, I got this job for you to do. It's going to pay you $10 million a year. You're going to have all the prestige and respect you can imagine. You're going to have power. All your bills will be paid, everything. You'll be thought of as this high member of society. All you got to do is once a year, you got to circumcise a kid and put its bloody penis in your mouth. How many of you would take that job? All those benefits, and you only had to do it once a year. I know I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me enough money. And yet, the Moyle doesn't get anything close to that. And goes into it knowing he's going to be doing that shit multiple times a week, multiple times per day, especially if he lives in New York. Can you imagine how just how disgusting a human being you have to be? And then when you look at the videos, all of the thousands and thousands of videos that come out of Gaza, and even the videos that the Israelis show, like bragging, you see the behavior that they exhibit. Soldiers attacking, women, children, walking around with shirts on that have the silhouette of a pregnant woman with a scope over the belly and a thing that says 2 for 1 above it. Children being shot in the head and dropping bombs on tents. They've already destroyed everything they can, so the people set up tents just so they're out of the weather. And Israel's dropping bombs on their tents from, high-powered American fighter jets, F-35 fighter jets and shit. These cowards won't even do it, hand to hand. Even though there's plenty of videos where they go, and then you see all these reports of Israeli soldiers after they capture a place, after they kick the people out or whatever, they find the woman's underwear drawer and they put the underwear on over their fatigues and take pictures, or they hold it up in front of them. Obsessed with Arabic women's underwear. These are the sickest fucking people. They're just disgusting. It's no wonder they do this. It's no wonder they do that shit. Cut and suck baby penises. Look at who they are. And what do you think? The vast majority of those Israelis have had their penis cut and sucked when they were babies. That happens way more frequently over there. You don't think that has something to do with the psychological aspect of why these people can commit these atrocities and sleep at night? They're the worst. They are just the worst. And the best part is, it's coming to light. The truth will always find a way through. And it's coming. Coming. Notice how the comments are all just telling me I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be talking about this. That's not happening. That's not what happens. Not a single one is going to try to justify it because they know they can't. So they're hoping you guys are stupid enough to think I made it up? I made up the term Matitza Bepa. I made up Brit Milah. You've all heard of a bris before. You all know that they have parties called brisses where they invite all the family and friends over and they all sit around and watch the baby get circumcised. What kind of sick people do that shit? Probably the same people that rent boats. So when they know that there's a big bombing campaign coming, they rent a boat. And and they go out on the river and watch the bombs drop, and every time the bombs drop, they cheer. Yeah. It's those same fucking people. It's just appalling. And you know, there are plenty of regular people here that feel the same way. They hear what I'm saying and they go, wow, fuck that, that's fucking gross, that's horrible. The last thing they think to do is come talk shit. Oh yeah, well, your haircut's not a nice haircut. I don't like the way you have your face shaped. You don't believe in submarines. Because all that shit is way worse. It's funny. It is funny. It is funny. Right? This person said it's funny as fuck. It's funny as fuck. Cutting and sucking baby penises. It's funny as fuck. All the Israeli shit, the wearing the fucking women's underwear, the genocide, the brutal beatings, all that's so fucking funny. All these fat, disgusting Israelis walking around acting like they're entitled to the land. You can go to my Facebook page and you'll see video after video showing you exactly what's going on. There's no videos showing you the opposite. You can't show me any videos of Israelis being attacked or Jays being attacked. You know, even when it comes to the protest stuff, there's no videos of Jays being attacked or harmed in any way. Other than people fighting back when they, you know, the Jays come starting some shit and picking fights. But they're never the victims. They're always the aggressors. They love to pick fights and then call the cops if you fight back. And over in Israel, they don't even have to worry about it. They have something called a rampage. So anytime something happens and they don't like it, the settlers get together and they form a long line. And as they walk, they just destroy everything they come in contact with. They burn buildings down, they break windows, they beat anybody up. That's like a pack of locusts going across the plain. But it's literally called a rampage. And they also have the IDF behind them. So if anybody steps up and tries to stop them or fights back in any way, they either get arrested or killed. And all of it is your American tax dollars hard at work. You should feel proud. You should feel good about yourself, buddy. You are a top-notch human being. They're just disgusting. They're disgusting. Stupid ass says, bruh. Types out, bruh. Bruh. They are at war. No, it's not a war. War is when you have, you know, equal factions fighting against each other. Factions fighting against each other. One side in this conflict has rocks and sticks. The other side has fucking the best weapons money can buy. This isn't a war. There are no Israeli casualties. You never even hear about it. Do you ever even hear about the Israeli casualties anymore? Every once in a while they'll run a story about how some random bomb blew up and killed some old lady that had no relatives or anything like stupid shit like that. Usually the people that die are either involved in some sort of friendly fire or it's some old person that probably died of natural causes that they then use and say, oh, they were killed in some sort of, you know, some sort of something or other. There's no Israeli casualties. It's disgusting. You know, everything I'm saying is easily looked up, easily proven. If I was wrong, they'd be saying it. simple. The reason why this feed is so one-sided is because I'm not wrong. I pride myself in not talking about speculation, not exaggerating or anything like that. Because there's no need. The story is as bad as it gets without any sort of hyperbole or anything like that. These are the worst fucking people in the world. Their arrogance, their supremacy, again, their Semitism. It's all disgusting. Semitism means policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. The rules, the policy, the regulations, the policy, the predisposition, how people go into it thinking is favorable to the Jays. Why should they get that? Why should they get any favor whatsoever? You know, if Semitism meant that Jays were treated equally at all costs, well, that would be a whole different thing. That's not what that shit means. All you arrogant Christians out there, you know, think that God answers your prayers. You must be praying right. All those Palestinian Christians fighting for their lives, well, they're just not praying the right way. All those children being raped by clergy all the time, well, they're just not praying the right way. They should pray differently. And God doesn't answer prayers. God answers tithing, so maybe that's the problem. The kids just don't have the money to give, so God will pay attention to them. God, so fucking stupid. So stupid. And so obvious as to why it exists the way it does. It's an obvious control scheme. It's obvious supremacy. And they're terrified. They want to maintain their position, but they can't. It's falling apart. They gave us too much. That's why they're trying to bring it, like, pull it back. Well, that's why they're policing the internet so much, because they know that the more that we connect, the more that we unify, the more danger it is for them. So, in the description, you will find a link to the website, so you can go get the free download, www.bilderberg-group.com. When you click download, it'll ask you how much you want to pay. Put $1,000 in there, or click 0. Either way, it doesn't matter. All we do is ask that you share it with someone. That's the only price, is that you just share it with someone. I'm going to leave a link to Hollywoodism, the movie that explains all of it. I didn't make it. Conspiracy theorists didn't make it. They made it. Go watch this movie. It will explain it all to you. And I'll leave you a link to our some Facebook songs, some protest songs, so you can see the videos on Facebook. Everybody have a great day. All you trolls, I know you'll be here tomorrow playing the role of the stupid fucking dumb J troll piece of shit who can't actually say anything. Oh, by the way, some things you might want to look up. Team Jorge, the Samson Option, Operation Cast Thy Bread. Team Jorge is the proof positive, smoking gun proof, absolutely undeniable proof that Israel controls social media. The Samson Option is Israel's promise to, nuke the world should they ever feel that their existence is ever in danger again. But they don't have nukes, so it's not a real threat. And Operation Cast Thy Bread is the proof positive that the Jays are the type of piece of shit people that will poison drinking water systems. It was the operation they did to poison the drinking water. It's how Israel was initially created. The town of Acre was the first one to fall. And they poisoned the drinking water. And the prime minister, the first prime minister, what ended up being the first prime minister, Ben Gurion, and what was the guy's name? I don't remember. But it was an official government operation where they poisoned the drinking water system so that the people would be easier to overtake. The proof is out there. You just have to find it. Of course, they're not going to make it easy for you because it makes them look bad. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty easy to find. So go look that shit up. Educate yourself. And all you dumb fucking trolls, educate yourself. Come at me tomorrow with something better than you do today, because today all you did was make me look good. So pedophiles, you fucking kill yourself.